Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that's a 3-game winning streak. What's up? It's another edition of the LA Drippers podcast. We're going to get into how we got here, where we're going, and how we're going to stay with our winning ways. All that and more on this edition of the LA Drippers podcast. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome into another edition, episode 6 of the LA Drippers podcast. It's your boy, Victor Spoils, once again bringing you all of your up-to-date Clippers information. And right now, we're in the middle of a 3-game winning streak. Clipper Nation, are you ready? Because we're starting to see the baby steps of what could be. Now, obviously, we're looking at a 3-game sample, okay? We're looking at teams that will not be competing for a championship this year. All right? But team looked good, and a win is a win. Counts the same in the column, all right? I like the way the team is trending. We still got miles to go, and we're going to talk about that. But I like what I'm seeing. I like the team finding ways to win. They had some nice wins. They've had some ugly wins. They've had some come from behind. They've had some grit. All of these things are necessary to form that type of chemistry and championship DNA that we're looking for. I thought it was great. A lot of noise being made about Kawhi being booed at the last Spurs game. I think the fans were just tired of getting done up by him. But I don't know. I kind of say I feel him, but then again, I don't, because a lot of Clipper fans that I know, for whatever reason, they give Elton Brand a pass. I'm not saying that I do. I hold a grudge. I don't even like talking about Elton Brand. But respect the guy as a professional in this business. Most definitely. But I'm not breaking my back to cheer him on in a stadium anytime soon. Now, if I see him out there in real life, I treat him with respect and everything like that. All of that's for on the court and all that's basketball. So I don't exactly know how far I would want to take it. I think Popovich was basically just trying to tell the crowd to help him out, because Kawhi already has a little bit of extra something for San Antonio every time he goes into that building, every time he steps on the floor with them. He's already coming to bring it to him. And I don't think that there's anyone in the world who knows that that's not going to happen. Booing the man, you're just activating competitive flow within a person. So I think Pop was looking for a little bit of a reprieve from all of that. I think he was trying to get the fans to realize that, hey, number one, it's not really the type of fan base that we've been. And then number two, you're just you're poking the bear, like he said. So the bear was poked to the tune of 26 points in 36 minutes. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Typical Kawhi night. 10 for 17, 2 for 6 from 3. Solid from the free throw line. Couple steals. Not bad night. Not a bad night. The team, however, something left to be desired. I mean, 39 for 85 from the field. Now, that's still 46%, but I I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know, we didn't really make a whole lot of stops. Um, San Antonio actually shot more than us. They put up about 10 more threes and they had 91 shots from the field. So, hats off to the defense. 16 turnovers, but we gave up 13. So that's kind of a wash. We can't go back and forth in the turnover battle. We need to win that convincingly by 7 or more. That would make me happy. 7 or more in the turnover differential. Yeah, I'm going to say that that would be showing the elite defense that we have at our disposal. So, looking at the landscape of a game, I will say that it does take a little bit of grit, and you need to be focused and locked in order to beat a team back to back in their own building. We got the sweep, so bring out the broom on the Spurs. That's a wrap. I like how we played Wemby the entire time. I thought that we were physical with him, frustrating him, getting in his lanes, and yeah, just living with the consequences. Everybody had a pretty typical game. I wonder about our shot selection. Paul George going 8 for 23, not okay. The 23 shots is not what I have a problem with. It's the fact that there were only 8 of them that were completed. We got to get a better shot selection. I think in time, everybody's going to figure out what it is that they're doing. Now, there's a whole lot of noise being made around Kawhi and his fourth quarter touches. All right, let's get into it a little bit. All right. First, we need to understand what type of game it is that Kawhi is actually trying to play. And I get that because he is not the person that is in the media all the time or is on social media with the videos and all of this and that, we're not really understanding what it is that he wants. But I believe that I do have a little bit of insight into that, which is why I'm here speaking to you from the Yacht Club. In this stage in his career, with a health that is, while he's in magnificent shape, he does have a lengthy injury history. Obviously, he's looking for the people around him to help make the game easier for him so that he can dominate in situational basketball. Okay? Now, the difference between playing situational basketball, right, rather than what a lot of the fans and media are looking at for Kawhi to do, is that dominating a game for Kawhi does not mean 25 shots and 10 to 15 isolation touches. That's not the beauty of Kawhi's game. Kawhi is one of the most efficient and effective two-way players that we have ever seen in this league. If you get him the ball in his spots, he's money. He doesn't have a particularly large array of offensive skills per se in the way of a person that you would want to play ISO a la James Harden, a la Paul George or Kyrie Irving or some of those names. He's looking to attack the basket in the majority of the time. I think the modern era is the only reason that you see Kawhi jacking up threes, but a lot of the times Those threes historically have not been the greatest of shots. He's just a magnificent shooter. He can rise above the defense, and with those huge paws, he's able to guide that ball. He's got a line drive, and I think that because of his makeup, it makes his shot very difficult to defend because he shoots it like a cannon. All right. So we're looking at trying to simplify the game more for Kawhi. What does that mean exactly? Well, I can tell you one thing. It's a lot easier to score already being in your spots and having a couple of dribbles as opposed to giving someone the ball 18 feet away from the cup, 22 feet away from the cup, and asking them to create their own offense when we have a whole team. All right. The problem with isolation ball, especially in terms of this team, is we have number one, we have too many people on the team that are capable of it. The ball sticks, the shot clock wanes, right? And then you also have what I really don't like is you also have four other guys standing around watching whoever is in isolation. And that historically has been us. A lot of ball watching going on this team right now. There's not a sense of urgency about grabbing that basketball that I need for people to have. I need that ball to seem like it's everything. And there's a little uncertainty because of who's on the team as to the security of the basketball. The next guy thinks the next guy's got it. And that can't be the mentality. Everybody's got to get after that ball. And I would rather have my teammate wave me off it and tell me that they have it than assume that they have the basketball. Because you know what happens then? Turnovers. And on a team that needs to really be cautious about the turnover battle, I would say that we want to do everything we can to protect that basketball and show better ball security. Can't be so careless with it. So when I look at Kawhi in the last game, when I look at him getting to his spots and how he's able to operate very quickly, the defense isn't ready. The defense isn't strong enough to handle him on the block. Getting him the ball anywhere around the key is basically what I'm looking to do. He only had about 5 touches, I think, maybe 6 touches in the whole game that were isolation touches. And in those moments, I think we're going to be better served keeping the defense honest and at least making good decoys of our players out there. We can't be in that mindset to where we're ball watching because that type of thing becomes infectious. You start becoming more lackadaisical and it permeates through the ball game. Can't have that. Don't want that. That is not conducive to championship basketball. So I like the way that things are going. I don't need Kawhi to be putting up 30, 35 a night. Sure, it would be nice. It's not really his game. If we can take a lot of the pressure offensively off of Kawhi, it gives him more opportunity to become a more efficient leader on the defensive end, both in his own defensive game and in helping us play a better and more efficient uh, team game defensively. And that's what we'd like to have him do because there isn't anybody that can do it quite like Kawhi. Paul George, one of the best two-way players in the league, most definitely. But the responsibility that I would like to impress upon Paul George is handling that offensive load because his arsenal, his makeup as a player denotes that he could be the leading scorer on a team. And because he has the largest array of skills, I believe, of most of the league, I'm telling you, like, I don't really think that in a Clipper jersey, we have seen the full extent of what Paul George is capable of. What I would like to see the team do is empower Paul George to be the guy. Lead us in scoring. Paul George can be the person that's getting 30 a night. And when I look at him shooting 23 shots, I think that the Clippers see what I see. Harden can set the table and still not have to draw the ire of the heart of the defense. Make him a second option. Make Kawhi a third option. And have Harden and Kawhi, switch those roles depending on who they're playing. And that's another thing that we got to talk about before we get into the rest of the roster and their performance. Look, guys, we can't be in love with lineups. We need to concentrate on matchups because matchups are where ball games can be won and lost very simply. If there's a mismatch that can be exploited, it's going to be a long day for the other team. We need to be looking at ways to make winning simpler. Just like Kawhi wants the game simplified for him. There's no sense in having a bunch of all-star caliber guys, all-pro caliber guys, future Hall of Fame guys on the team. And you still have Kawhi trying to shoulder the same workload as if he didn't, as if it were 2 or 3 years ago. I just don't see the point in that. Kawhi always hurts himself in game while he's in the middle of like a 30 or 40 point performance. And while I love to see it, I don't think that that's the brilliance of his game. He's an all-around guy and just a complete problem on defense that no one has an answer for. That's where I need him to be the greatest player on the court. Because he can do things on defense that only he can do. And I believe that the seed of his leadership, and we can debate that another day about Kawhi's brand of leadership and if he is a leader or if he's not. But I believe that he does have a brand of leadership, and I believe that it starts defensively. Defense wins championships. We got to have an anchor. It's very important. So when I see Kawhi going 10 for 17, and I know out of those 17 shots, maybe 5 of those were ISO, I'm happy with that. What I don't want is 23 to 30 shots a night, and we got 10 ISO touches. 12 ISO touches. It's not necessary for him to work that hard. When you have a team with James Harden and Russell Westbrook who know how to set the table, and you also have 2 offensive threats, one and the same in James Harden, and then you also have Paul George out there. I know Norman Powell and Terrence Mann got something to say about that on the offensive side of the ball as well as the defensive side of the ball. So hopefully, my hope is that the Clippers are seeing some of the things that I'm saying. And I would tend to think that if I'm thinking it, then it's something that they've thought about. They are the professionals, and there's a reason why they get paid. There's a lot of brilliant people on this team. And I think that this could be the reason why it has looked a little discombobulated at times because of the fact that you have so much apex talent that it can get a little tricky on how to piece it all together because you're asking a bunch of guys who can do everything on a basketball court to just do a couple things. Just pick a couple of things out your bag that are going to complement this team best. There's a couple things that you do better than anybody on the team. I need you to do those things. And then I'm going to have your teammates over here fill in the rest of those gaps because they also have a skill set that is somehow unique to them and is levels above. Like I said, there's many great perimeter defenders on our ball club, and I believe that Kawhi Leonard stands head and shoulders above them all. I know what he can do offensively, but I would rather have him achieve that great level of defensive success because I know it would be a nightmare for the opposing teams that we would face every night. Also having to deal with James Harden, also having to deal with Paul George, and then not getting a reprieve because the bench is coming and Russell Westbrook is going to have our guys flying around. Norman Powell's out there, Terrence Mann out there. I believe that over time you're going to find PJ Tucker find it. I believe Russell Westbrook is going to help PJ Tucker find his offense, and that's going to be very nice because PJ Tucker, when his offense is going, when that 3 and D is going, when that corner 3 is hitting, his defense picks up. So I look forward to that. Daniel Tice, great pickup. My frustration with the center position right now. Folks, if you follow me on social media, you can get me on IG at LA Drippers, and I'm also on Twitter or X at LA Drippers Pod. Man, I need more from Zoo. 26 minutes. You give me 12 points, 8 rebounds. Now, you went 5 for 7, but that is just the team setting the table for you. And my frustration is James Harden and Russell Westbrook especially understand what is going to be necessary for them to win a championship and domination in the middle, especially when we are thin as far as bigs are concerned on this team. It has to be paramount. If I can manufacture 5 touches for you that translate into 10 points, I expect you to get, let's say, another 4 to 6 points off of your free throws. And he's pretty solid from the line when he's focused. So that's something I know you could do. So let's say another 6 points. Boom, that's 16. Okay. Can you give me 2 offensive rebounds, 2 putbacks? That's 4 points. That's 20. 20 and 10. 20 and 15. We're jacking up a lot of shots, yo. We took 85 shots. We made 39 of them. We won the rebound battle at 50, but it seems like there was still a lot of meat left on the bone. And with Zubac only claiming 8 rebounds. I mean, Daniel Tice, he's the backup. He played 20 minutes in that game. Saw some time with the starters. Folks, I was saying it earlier when I saw flashes of what Diabate could do. Zubac is begging someone to cut into his minutes to take his starting job. I need to see a championship level mentality from Zubac. I need Zubac to be confident and true in his role with the team. You know I need you to rebound like a crazy man. I need you to be the window cleaner, baby. You know that, okay? You know I need you to shut down whatever you can in the paint. Zublock, I need that. Zublaka, I need all of that. Zutumbo, yes, give me that too. You know that I need that. And the problem is that I'm not getting 4/4 of that. I don't really believe that I'm getting 2/4 of that. I'm getting spots of it throughout the game. And you're looking at Harden and Kawhi and PG and Russell Westbrook propping up Zubac. And he's not getting the message. Getting to the line once. He's 2 for 2. That's great. But we need to feed you the ball, and you need to want it. 5 for 7. No problem with that. But that's basically 10 points off of easy dishes. I mean, 2 to 3 offensive rebounds. That should be a couple putbacks. That's, another 4 points right there. Then you'd be at 14. You get to the line a couple more times. Let's say you go 4 for 4. Now you're at 16. 16 and 8. A couple more rebounds because you had the offensive rebounds that put you at 16 and 10. I can't see Zubac having less than 10 rebounds on this team. Daniel Tice did it in 20 minutes. And you see it. It's creeping up. Zubac got 26 minutes. Paul George, Harden, Kawhi Leonard, they played 36 minutes. Terrence Mann had 23 minutes. Westbrook was in there 27 minutes. So he actually played longer than Zubac. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that needs to be addressed. Russell Westbrook had 6 rebounds in that game. Paul George tied Zubac with 8 rebounds. I don't have a problem with anybody's rebounding. I'd like to see Kawhi average 6 rebounds a game, but I don't need that, especially if James Harden, Paul George, and Westbrook are dedicated to the rebounding like they've shown in this last game. I mean, that's wonderful. I want 6 to 8 rebounds from my wings. That helps us win. 50-plus rebounds a night helps us win. We need that. We don't rebound, we don't win. It's as simple as that. Daniel Tice understands that. He didn't have a great shooting night, but he made sure that he collected that basketball. 11 rebounds in 20 minutes. 4 assists, only 8 points. It's 4 for 11. But he's a plus 12. Zubac's minus 4. They both had 2 personal fouls. Tice even had a turnover. We have to get it done in the middle. It's not negotiable. Zubac needs to understand that He's the only one in that starting lineup that is 7 foot tall. And so I need you to play like it. It's that simple. I need you to go out there and do big man things. And when I look at the confusion, when I look at some of the body language that I've been seeing, I get it. I get it. But it's not our first rodeo here in Clipperland. We should be used to the revolving role player position at this point, because you know that the only thing that's going to be constant in Clipper Nation is change. Until we find that winning recipe, that championship recipe, things will continue to change. Not in a chaotic sense, of course. I'm not asking Zoo to spread the defense and start hitting corner threes or anything like that. I'm not asking Zoo to bring down the ball. I'm asking Zoo to be big, to play the five position traditionally, which is the reason why he's there. There's a reason why Jerry West encouraged us to go and get him, because this team needs a traditional five. They don't need a stretch five. If Bam Adebayo was over here, we would not ask him to bring the ball down the court, and his ball handling ability would not necessarily be an asset. It might actually be more of a liability. It's very simple. Zoo's a better passer than he's shown, better defender than he's shown, way better rebounder, and he's been efficient in his scoring, but it's at a low volume. I need you to find your confidence, my friend. You've got to find that confidence and start playing like a big man. You've got to get into that championship mentality. This is the question surrounding our five spot now. I know that Daniel Tice has some championship DNA. He showed us that over the summer. The man is aggressive. And that's what I need Zoo to be. I need him to be aggressive. Because, like I said, he's 7 foot tall. I watched this documentary, and this guy's talking about how there's a lot of big men in the league that don't want to be big. They want to play like small guys, or maybe they're like Anthony Davis and they had some insane growth spurt as a youngster and kind of threw off what they thought their development was going to be within the game. But look, you're 7 foot. There is a particular role that has to be filled. Somebody has to rebound. We need defense in the paint. What better person to do that than a 7 foot person who has knowledge of the center position? I can't have Zoo shrinking in these type of moments, because these are not championship moments. These are not playoff moments. It used to be that at least you would see Zoo get up for the competition and you would see him have a wonderful game against other very competitive centers. Win or loss. I always thought that he gave his best effort against Jokic. It may have not always shown up in the stat line, but I could see him out there working. If he got outclassed, he got outclassed, but there was a time when he wasn't going to be outworked. And I see James Harden and Russell Westbrook really trying to activate this man. And I see his production going up because of that. But I do not see him taking that same delight or that same push in himself. His teammates are dropping him off 10 easy points. And if he would fight for another 15, that kind of thing. 12 and 12 nightly would be the absolute floor. The absolute floor. Really, what I would like to say is 16 and 12 because, I mean, it's 4 points a quarter. All right. 6 reebs a half. Minimum. We're not talking about crazy statistics. And we're also talking about, like I said, a role that needs to be filled, a role that he's there on the team to do. Couple block shots a night, that'd be great. But I would love to lock in at about 10.5 to 11 rebounds per game average. And I know he's capable of that. I just need for Zoo to be that every night guy. I need to see him refresh his motor, and I need to see a larger competitive spark in him. Nobody's questioning his effort or his heart or anything like that. I know that he has it. We've all seen it, ladies and gentlemen. We saw the 30-29 game. And I need to see half of that on a nightly basis, at least. And I don't understand why we're not getting it and why Zoo is basically letting other big men come in there and steal his lunch. They've been looking for something, and they should have been finding it in Zubac this entire time. And it's disappointing to me to see that they haven't found it in him yet. If this keeps up with the trade line coming, I don't know. I would hope that Zubac can get it together because the man does have the skill set and he does have what we need. He's got to shore up those hands. I'm not sure that he could do that. But I don't want to think of Zubac as being a place sitter until Plumlee gets back because Plumlee gives us that energy. Plumlee's a guy that dives on the floor. Plumlee is a guy that is very smart. He's a very skilled passer. He's a better defender than people give him credit for. And he's a pretty sure shot. Switched to be a lefty just to make himself harder to defend. So you couple that with Daniel Tice, I'm telling you, the center position collectively will average, I'm going to say, 20 points and 15 rebounds a night, average. And that's fine by me. As long as I get my 20 and 15, I don't care how it comes. And that is the bigger point, ladies and gentlemen, to how we obtain that championship mentality. Even as a fan base, we have to get out of this thing where we're thinking about, oh, it needs to look like this and it needs to look like that. Hey, it needs to equate to a win. And also, furthermore, I believe that it needs to continue to evolve and revolve. We need to be more concerned about the matchups in the game in front of us. Got to be concerned about that. There are some apex dudes out there that we're just not going to have an answer for. But somehow, I believe this team has the collective basketball IQ to figure out how to make some of these guys at least seem human. And if I'm right about that, we should see an interesting performance out of the Clippers when they next meet Denver, which I think is coming up next week. I think I'm going to be at that game. We have something special with this team. There are some things I believe that Ty Lue would like to do with this ball club. But in order to do them, he needs a certain caliber of player on the court. He needs somebody who can meet him on that intellectual basketball level in order to better translate it to the rest of the players on the floor. And I believe that he's found that in James Harden. I believe that James Harden has a brand of leadership that gets overlooked. And I believe this is another thing that actually makes him a very, very effective point guard. So we've got a lot of things working for us in our favor. We just need to start living out roles, and we need to start seeing that true desire to lock into the fundamentals of the game, because those are the things that are going to make winning for us a lot easier. We can get some easy wins just by using our brains a little bit more than thinking that we need to muscle everything out or play a bunch of iso ball or a bunch of hero ball or a bunch of three-row ball. We don't need to do any of that. Think about those Chicago Bulls teams in the 90s. Who was their dominant center in any of those championships? Oh, that's right. They didn't have one. They didn't need that. They played tenacious perimeter defense, and they tried to put those games out by the end of the third quarter. It's a lot easier to play 82 games when you start dominating your teams and you don't have to play as many minutes. It would be great if Kawhi were to average 30 minutes a game for the season because of the dominance that we are displaying. I would love to see Kawhi be able to sit in the fourth more. And that's a possibility. That's a real realm. We got James Harden, Westbrook, PG, Norman Powell. PJ Tucker's going to come around, I'm telling you. Terrence Mann's out there. And who knows who else is going to step up? Amir Coffey, I think, can fill, and I've said this before, I think that Amir Coffey can fill the void that Rocco left. I believe that they have a similar skill set. I believe that Rocco obviously is a more accomplished scorer. But that's not to say that we can't get, that Amir doesn't get caffeinated. He gets caffeinated. That coffee's strong. He's the brewmaster. So the sky's the limit for him. And I think having Russ and Harden, especially there, is really going to empower him. But let's see. Because remember, Victor's keys, one of my keys for a championship season was really getting maximum effort from the young guys off the bench. It is time. They must evolve, and they must shoulder some of the load in the fourth and on the second unit in order to give the team the type of longevity that we're actually trying to achieve. It's not impossible. I'm telling you, it's not impossible. Everybody's got to be locked in, though. And I see this team very focused on the mission at hand. So I'm sure Zubac, if he hasn't got if you haven't got the message yet, bro, don't put yourself on the chopping block. People like Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris. Who else could we name? We could talk about Big Trez. We could talk about, Patrick Beverly had to leave for a different reason. But there's a lot of people that, even Blake Griffin, there's a lot of people that were here. Reggie Jackson. These guys were all here, and they were all needed to play a particular role in what we were doing. And they did not deliver in that role. All we ever needed Luke Kennard to do was to spot up and hit that three. He was going to get open looks. He did get open looks. All we needed to do, just boom. What we're doing this year, we're going to drive, we're going to kick, and we're going to swing. And when we swing that ball to you, just let it fly, baby. Do what you do. We don't need you to do nothing else. Except the problem was he wouldn't do it. So much hesitation, so much second guessing himself, so much passing off of the open looks, taking himself out of the rhythm. This is the same guy that when he was on actually had a higher three-point completion percentage than Steph Curry. And Steph Curry played that year. So when we bring you in there to do something special, when we bring you in there to be a specialist, you got to do those special things. And right now, we need the big man position. And I'm looking at you, Zub. We need that to be special. If we could get 25 and 15 or 25 and 20 from that position, that would be ideal. And that's not to say that we're that far off, but that's just a start. We're talking basement numbers. We're talking basement numbers, okay? And we just got to do more than basement numbers. 25 and 20, like minimum, is what I'm thinking. Because in reality, Zub should have 20 and 15 every night. And I think Ty's should definitely be 10 and 15 every night. And if we can get there, we're really going to be looking at some real dominance that we can exploit. Because I know that there's going to be a lot of teams that when they look at us on the calendar, they're just going to have one of those, oh, man. Know you're going to be in for a fight all night long. Let's make the game easy for ourselves. That's all I'm saying. It's the LA Drippers podcast. All right, y'all. Well, yeah, we're almost about out of here. But before we do that, we're going to look ahead to the next game, which is against New Orleans, the Pelicans. And what can we say about this game? We have an opportunity to get back to 500. All right. Which would mean the New Orleans Pelicans being at 500. They're at 8-7 right now. All right. I think that obviously this is a winnable game. We got to go out and play well, which we have not done historically against the New Orleans Pelicans in the last few seasons. but I think we can right that ship. I'm not decided whether I'm going to be in the building for the game yet. I got a lot of work to do, man. Like this holiday season has really been testing me. You know, we moved into a new place and still getting set up here, and so my attentions and times are very divided, but I would love to be in the house for the game. We'll see what happens. I think it's a winnable game. I would love to see how we fare against a bigger front court. Got to go out there and rebound, obviously. So we'll see, you know. Not too much to say about the game. I'm just waiting to see what the guys do. It's one of the reasons why you haven't heard from me in a few games, because I've just been kind of sitting back. I wanted to see what these guys were going to do, exactly what the team was going to bring. And I think that it's starting to take shape. Hopefully, my hope is that we become a team that's more focused on the matchups and not trying to force any given lineup. I look forward to seeing 3 to 4, maybe even 5 different rotations that we have that are rotations that we actually go to during the season. It wouldn't be the first time. It would, however, be the first time that we are doing it because of looking at a winning culture, looking at what's going to be best for the win for that night instead of injuries and necessity and things like that. So happy to see that the team's headed in the right direction. I think we can continue that. I would love to see us get another win here because we do have troubled waters coming up. Dallas, we got them coming up. We definitely have Denver next Monday. And then after that, it's Sacramento, it's Golden State. So we got to lock in. We won't have another opportunity to work out some kinks on one of the maybe teams that are lower in the standings this year until, mid-December when we play Portland again. So got to get some things figured out. What I like about this team and what I believe is going to happen is that you will see this team rise to the occasion. I don't believe that any of the growing pains that we might be experiencing right now, I don't think that's going to have anything to do with our ability to win quality ball games against championship caliber teams. And we're going to get the opportunity to find that out real soon. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for rocking with me for a little bit, listening to me ramble on about my squad, the LA Clippers. This has been the LA Drippers podcast. You can listen to me on Spotify. You can catch me on iHeartMedia as well as Amazon Music. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, everyone. Be sure, click your like buttons, leave your comments. If there's anything you want me to cover, I'm sure we'll get into it. As the season progresses and we get closer to, let's say, the trademark, I think I'm going to start opening it up. We'll start talking about the whole NBA. But for right now, this is dedicated to my team. The LA Drippers podcast is dedicated to LA Clippers Basketball Club, man, because it's the squad, and I'm one of the people in the back. So we had to do it one time, put on for our team one time. All right, everyone, be good. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. It's Friday. It's a great day to get it. Be safe out there. There's a lot of crazy consumers doing their thing. Don't get caught up in that. Stay true to the mission, and don't spend up all your money. Spend your time with your loved ones. It's much more important than anything you could ever imagine. Much more important than anything you could buy would be the time spent with the people that you love. And that's the drip. It's plain to see. You can't change me, because I'm going to be that Clipper for life. LA Drippers.